All right, Bears fans, happy game day. Looking at the game today, Bears versus Broncos, we have a couple things to look at and break down. I'm going to go ahead and start on the offensive side of the ball. There's just no getting around it. Mitch Trubisky had a rough game last week. It was probably one of the worst games of his career. Here's hoping that it was a bump in the road in this season. Maybe he was a bit rusty. Look, that's all we can do at this point is hope. Matt Nagy has a track record of working with quarterbacks, so if anybody's going to be able to pull him out of this, we have to believe that Nagy's going to be the guy to do it. How are we going to attack the Denver Broncos defense? Well, I think putting him back there in five-step drops is probably a good way to get him killed. Von Miller, Chubb, and a lot of other people coming after him. That would be really a bad situation for him to be in, especially with the way the offensive line struggled in the last game. I think what Nagy's going to really work on trying to do is to get a lot of very short routes, kind of get into a West Coast rhythm to start the game, get him some early completions, get the ball out of his hand real quickly, 3 steps and away, timing routes, things like that. Hopefully going to do it out of some odd formations so that the Broncos aren't looking for it. Fangio really hasn't shown a lot of history of blitzing. It's kind of not his signature. He may switch that up to get after Trubisky, but I just don't see a leopard doesn't change his spots. I don't see him bringing a lot of pressure throughout the entire game. He might start off that way, but one of the way the Bears can counter that is to run right at it. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of weird, running right at the blitz, but oftentimes that's the easiest way to neutralize it, especially if your offensive line is prepared for it. If they see the blitzers coming, you just go into a simple man-up blocking scheme, big on big, and let the running back go behind them, use his vision to find a cut-back lane, cut up, and go. If the Bears can get the ground game going early and really force Fangio back into his base defense package, which is really what he prefers to play in anyway, it's really going to offer Mitch Trubisky a little bit of breathing room to get those passes out and really not put him in a situation where he has to be dropping back and teed up for Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. On the defensive side of the ball, we have a little bit of an interesting situation here. You're going against Joe Flacco. Now, throughout history, Joe Flacco has shown that if you can get pressure on him and really get him flustered, and especially moving off of his spot, he will chuck the ball up. Now, he's gotten a little older, so he does a little less of that than he did, but it's still a habit of his that comes out at possibly the worst time for the Broncos. So I think really what the Bears really need to focus a lot on is getting into the backfield, getting him to move off of his spot. Now that means, yeah, everybody's going to talk about Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd, and of course they have to be involved in it. But I think the key to this game defensively is going to be Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman. If Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman can collapse the pocket from the middle and force him off his spot, that's when throughout the history of his playing, he's shown he's willing to chuck the ball up. If you put pressure in his face, drive up the middle of the pocket and collapse it around him, he's going to put that ball in the air. And with our defensive backfield, especially Eddie Jackson, I like those chances. Running game, I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. If we're going to get burned in this game, it's likely going to be through the air. So we'll see what this game has to offer. Pinheiro hit his one and only kick, so hey, so far he's looking good. And O'Donnell had one of the best games of his career punting. So, I mean, when you look at special teams is looking better than it was last year. The defense is looking like it can be the same dominant force that it was last year. If our offense can just kind of gel and solidify, if the offensive line can buck up and decide and rally from last week and decide that's not who we are or who we want to be, I think we have a really good chance against this Broncos team. So let's hope that it's a good game. I'm looking forward to it. Nagy versus Fangio. And either way, win or lose, I'm going to tip my hat to Fangio for all of the wonderful things that he did during his time here with the Bears and congratulate him for the head coaching job that was well-deserved. He's a Bear. He will always be a Bear, and I will treat him as such. Thank you guys for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this, and bear down, and we'll see you after the game.